It's Jumpy23 folks, ADV Revival 2 top 8 McMeghan versus Jumpy. Let's get into it. A couple of Jirachi leads. What's going on with that? What the heck? Oh, a raw Zapdos is a disaster for what could be a Calm Mind pass Celebi team from McMeghan. Calm Mind are getting instantly thwarted by a raw. If it's special defense Zapdos, this is even more of a disaster for McMeghan. That's something you don't want to see. We'll see if McMeghan is able to output some offense despite a very sturdy counter to the main game plan here. We've got a Magneton revealed on McMeghan's side, which is sometimes seen on these Calm Mind teams because you don't want Skarmory roaring you out and stuff. But this time the raw user is Zapdos, so that's a bit awkward. Gets a nice substitute off here though, and McMeghan is applying some pressure with Zapdos behind a sub, thunderbolting this Jirachi, and actually gets a nice paralysis in there, and lives behind the sub, so this Zapdos is well positioned. And a full paralysis. Bit of luck on McMeghan's side today. Certainly. Jirachi is the one getting unlucky this time. That's a bit of role reversal, isn't it? In comes Tyranitar to create the Sandstorm we all know and love, to stop this Zapdos from eating that Apple Claw all the time. Because that would result in a significant amount of chip healing, wouldn't it? We finally got rid of the pesky Zapdos. And it looks to be a Fortress team from Jumpy. How much info do we have on the Tyranitar? None, but we could say maybe a Pursuitar to help this Fortress exist. Magneton is substituting down to... I almost was about to say, is that a Papaya Berry? That would be crazy, but no. Unfortunately, it's an awkward scenario where the Magneton doesn't have HP Fire in the Fortress matchup. I think that Fortress would have lived that one. That was pretty damn lucky right there. I think that would have lived. And it's Vape in the back. Okay, a bit of Karmic justice with a crit and a Spadef drop from Crunch. There it is indeed Pursuit Tyranitar. And Tyranitar ends up 1v1ing a water type. What do you know? What do you know? The type chart doesn't apply to our goat, does it? Fire Blast is a significant damage threat to Jirachi here. But it drops to, I think, an HP Grass, probably. HP Fight would be... I suppose HP Fight is also possible. I feel like that was a bit too much damage for HP Grass. So is HP Fighting going to be a problem for this Blissey? It's an incredible question. Does the Blissey have Thunder Wave? That's another incredible question, because Thunder Wave would put this Jirachi to bed, but we don't know if it has it. It mightn't. Does have it. Okay, that's good news for Jumpy. But Jumpy's low on pocket monsters. There's only one more Pokeball in the back pocket. We don't know what it is. Probably some sort of rock resist, I would think. Zap can still do a decent job of stalling these Leech Seed PPs, but it's kind of dubious, isn't it? Because Zap is getting low with the sand that Jumpy himself created, causing some problems as Zap is now on only 27. Can you rest up in the face of this Porygon? You can, and luckily it didn't stay in Ice Beam you. It might have 3-hit through the sand and Leech Seed if it Ice Beamed. I'm not sure. But you can, of course, easily just exit to Blissey. McMeghan, despite the Pokemon advantage, is struggling a bit to break through this Blissey and Zapdos combo. These very sturdy special threats. And Zap is asleep now, so it could actually fall to a couple Psychics here. It's got Talk. Talk is pretty good news, because Talk could set you free. I think that... Okay, McMeghan goes to the the zap, but I think Blissey can still wall this appropriately. Okay, there's a mind game here between sub or attack. McMeghan goes for the sub, and Blissey simply goes for a heal. So McMeghan has a little bit of a safety net now to go for a couple attacks. Can deal about 40 at the high end. That's quite good. That was another mind game. But you can, of course, Baton pass back out to Celebi. And keep the chain going. There is a Leech Seed threat. Oh, Breloom comes in on the Leech Seed very nicely. And is slower. I think that the Breloom was slower unless I'm hallucinating. I think the Sandstorm hit Celebi first. Perhaps I'm hallucinating. But McMeghan chose not to attack there either. McMeghan is yet to... There'd probably be one attack on the Celebi. It's revealed Carmine, Leech, Baton, Pass. But I'm sure there's one attack on it. Maybe the attack on it is not something that hits Breloom. Maybe it's not Psychic. Anyway, in the present day, we've got a Jirachi in now. And the PP chain could end here because Jirachi can't Baton Pass out itself. A Sleep Talk Roar could be good works. Jumpy chooses to just burn the turn, which is good. Because clicking Sleep Talk could leave you in an awkward spot where you can't bring the sleep counter back down to 0. Blissey is now in again, taking this opportunity to heal up. And this is a mixed Jirachi, by the way. I'm pretty sure because it's leading, and I think it had HP fighting. Gonna bring Zapdos in on the body slam, and does this Jirachi have something that threatens Zapdos? No. No, it doesn't. Or not enough to KO from there, at least. It was paralyzed, but maybe you could, you know, attack it while it's sleeping or something. The paralysis is convenient here because it's blocking this spore from taking place. I wonder if Jumpy will try to go for like a focus punch next time on the Jirachi coming in. That could be a good move. And it appears to be Hidden Power Fighting. I think that's Hidden Power Fighting because that just did 0 to Zapdos. Alright, the full set is revealed. My apologies. It's Wish, Protect, Slam, HP Fighting in the lead slot there. I was imagining a move slot that didn't exist. That's an interesting lead Jirachi said indeed. So the Jirachi actually isn't that much of a threat and not a great Carmine recipient either. McMeghan's way of breaking through is looking... It's looking limited. It's looking like a simple Blissey is kind of ruining McMeghan's career here, and an Ice Beam freeze certainly doesn't help. That's going to end Polygon's career. No, it's not. It traced Natural Cure. I am not on top of it today, folks. Forgive me. Forgive me. The freeze was in fact inconsequential. As a simple natural cure has brought us back to equilibrium. Okay, we're back in this scenario, and the Celebi is indeed faster than Breloom, but it must not have a move to threaten the guy. It mustn't. It mustn't. Because it's wanting to exit every time. This Jirachi can heal fellas up with Wish, but it's not outputting much pressure to the enemy. And in an odd turn of events, this strange combination of Zapdos, Blissey, and Breloom in this endgame is putting McMeghan in a real bind. McMeghan is not able to really make anything happen here. But the progress is slow from Jumpy, too. This Jirachi keeps healing up the team. And Porygon is quite a sturdy wall with a lot of recover PP for an end game situation. We will... I think that this might be a long one, so why don't we put this on fast mode for the tail end of this replay. That might be intelligent. We're in a bit of a loop here. A full paralysis, but Zapdos was effectively also inactive because it called rest from Sleep Talk. That could have been an end to Jirachi's life, but it was a little bit of a whiff from Jumpy. We have achieved an intriguing sort of stalemate. McMeghan's team is designed around pressuring the most common raw user in the game, that being Skarmory. But when you're running a sturdy raw user that is not Skarmory, like this Rest Zapdos, McMeghan's team clearly begins to struggle. And that is... that full para. That might end Porygon's career. He survived a near career-ending freeze earlier with a natural cure, but that... I don't know if Porygon 2 has much left in the tank after that one. So there's some progress being made with this odd matchup. Despite struggling to break through with the Carmine game plan, McMeghan's team is defensively pretty sturdy here. It's not making progress, but it's also not dying. So we could this could be a genuine draw situation. I mean, this could be, because neither player... I mean, maybe the scariest offensive threat here is the Breloom. Breloom is a powerful threat, but it's difficult for it to get a Spore off. It might be able to punch the incoming Jirachi. That could happen. You could punch him. You could punch the guy. And... just a wish loop. I mean, how low are we getting on the wish PP? We're only down to... we're down to 6 on that. So... I think that Jumpy is looking confident in the PP stall game plan, with the Rest Zap being such an asset here. Because I think Jumpy realizes that he's got more healing than Jirachi and can expend all these wishes pretty nicely. Okay, Porygon 2 can cure its paralysis here and try to live, yeah. Nice sneak in by McMeghan there. Sneaking in on the Blissey and getting the natural cure to give Porygon another chance at life. It's going to be rough, though. It's going to be tough to do that. Jumpy, 1 out. Could be a freeze, a lucky freeze on this Celebi. Could thwart its momentum a little bit. Okay, Jumpy went for the Sky Uppercut that time, and then the Spore on the... so McMeghan was correct on those callouts, but... there's not much fruit to bear from the Tree of Gaming, is there? There's little fruit on the Tree of Gaming today. Because even if you... it's Swords Dance Breloom. I wonder if that's... that might be exactly what you want here. It could be that they're dropping Punch for the sake of Swords Dance. It's a slightly less common Breloom variant, but it is seen sometimes. And this Breloom is forcing a mind game every time it's in, between attacking and sporing. Of course, the Celebi natural cures the Spore, but... okay, does Breloom want to dance with the devil? I guess the Jirachi comes in and stops the Breloom, but the Zapdos comes in and stops the Jirachi. There's a never-ending chain of answers to these things. But I do think that the Rest Zap is such a good late-game Pokemon that Jumpy has a serious edge in the terms of the pressure PP. Okay, Agility is a nutcase move option on Porygon 2. What the hell is going on with that? It's kind of good in a PP stall situation because there's 48 PP that move has. This might be a blessing in disguise for McMeghan. With agility. I mean, that is a... You know what that's... Oh my goodness. You know what it is? Is that this is a Carmine recipient. And it can use Bolt Beam and then agility to sweep with Porygon 2. That's genius level. It's not going to work in this battle because the Blissey is perfectly healthy, but can we imagine a world where this works? I'm imagining it, and it's a beautiful world. It's not this one. In this world, though, the agility, the 48 PP on that agility might just be your saving grace, McMeghan, because you have something to click. You might run this Blissey out of seismic tosses. Unless you get full powered multiple times over. Oh, you did get full powered multiple times over. I guess the odds were kind of bad there because eventually you're going to get full powered and eliminated by seismic tosses. That's regrettable. Now Porygon 2 is back on death's door where it once escaped. Now it's back there again. Isn't that just... That's just how the cookie crumbles, isn't it? I admire McMeghan's patience here because this is... I probably would have forfeited, to be honest. I mean, there might be a chance at victory that I'm not seeing for McMeghan, but it's rough against the rest Zapdos. It's very rough. We have Swords Dance Breloom. I don't think the Jumpy wants to risk going in with it, though, ever, because if you get Slam parried, you're kind of done for. So Breloom is this sort of a nuclear weapon in the back pocket that can come out sometime, but there's no need to risk it, is there? McMeghan did save Porygon 2's life another time by sneaking in on that natural cure. This Porygon 2 has been on death's door twice and recovered. It's still, I would still say it's on death's door as we speak, but maybe. Maybe, just maybe, it can recover again. And use those agility PPs to sit here and be triumphant, you know, in some universe. This is quite an end game, isn't it? I think this calls almost for hyper fast mode. I don't know if I can keep track of such a speed though. I can't operate at such a speed personally, so we'll leave it on fast mode for now. But we're sort of seeing the same loops occur over and over. Neither player having much of a way to break through, but I don't know if can McMeghan force a draw by just infinitely switching. I don't think that I think that the problem with McMeghan here is that he's relying too much on wish healing to keep his team healthy, and wish is going to be limited. I think there's only like 4 wishes left, in fact, right? There's 6 left. Okay, trying to maybe KO that. Alright, nice. Healed up the Porygon again. You know, if this Porygon had Toxic instead of Agility, we might have a different game on our hands, because you could Toxic the Blissey and apply pressure to it like that. We might have a different game on our hands. By Toxicking Blissey, you could spam Ice Beam and force damage on the incoming, but Zapdos would still be able to wall that, but maybe we'd be in a different world of some description. Agility's more epic, of course. McMeghan has a potential... Yes, McMeghan has eliminated the greatest threat to his whole team, that rest Zapdos. Could this be an actual path forward for McMeghan? No, because Swords Dance Sky Uppercut has just one-shot... has just one-shot the fella. My goodness. The Jirachi that was answering this Breloom all game has been punched in the skull with an uppercut. That is unreal. And this Celebi the whole game has not had a move to hit Breloom with. So I would assume that it can't win even though it resists fighting. McMeghan is living on borrowed time with a couple Calm Minds, and that's a forfeiture. Wow, I mean, that rest zap was such a problem the whole time. You actually got through it. And then Breloom just made history with a Swords Dance finish. The Swords Dance finish that Jumpy was avoiding that whole time, at risk of a paralysis, but forced into doing it now that Zapdos fell down. Not only dodged the body slam power, but got a critical hit that probably mattered. I don't know. Breloom's strong, but I don't know if it's strong enough to one-shot Jirachi from there. That was a very... Often those stalemate games come down to some sort of hacks in the end there. For most of that, Jumpy had the advantage, but that's a hard one to evaluate, isn't it? Let's get into game 2. And a Smeargle lead against a Blissey lead is... It's pretty significant early momentum. And a very good additional Spore. But also a very good Dugtrio switch in on the Smeargle. So there's only one layer to speak of. Only a single layer. You did sleep the Suicune and reveal some of the team, but not the end of the world for McMeghan here. Has to take a Fire Blast in order to roar out that Tyranitar. That's rough. And now we're on death's door against this Swampert, who does have Focus Punch. And that is very awkward for McMeghan right here, because Blissey can't even come in. Gonna have to go to the sleeping Suicune. This Suicune is wishing it was not asleep. It does have talk, at least, to do something while asleep, but Zapdos is forcing it out. Oh, an HP Grass to cover a ground type coming in was quite brilliant, as this Claydol takes what could be a devastating amount of chip. And a Psychic on the incoming Gengar, who was trying to block a Rapid Spin, is another great move. And it's Registsteel in top 8 of the Gymvitational. Amazing. McMeghan likes this Pokemon. Amnesia on it. Amnesia on it. Does Gengar have Taunt? I don't think it does. It's got Fire Punch. Probably can't fit Taunt with a set like that. We've got Curse Amnesia. This is like a low ladder set, and yet here it is being used by one of the greatest to ever do it. A punch. A successful punch, but it's doing 19 percentile. What? A crit punch will certainly will do it, but a crit punch will make history. And this might just do it all. We're gonna need to crit this thing. It's gonna need to be a crit. It's frighteningly likely because this Registsteel seems very passive. I don't even know how it's gonna... What's the move? You have room for like HP Steel and that's it. Rollout. It missed Rollout! I guess if it crit right there, it would have been cinematic. I can't believe this Rollout set is being used in the ADV Revival 2 top 8. This is why I hate this set. It keeps missing Rollout. It's achieving nothing, folks. It's achieving nothing. Oh my goodness. And there's a crit. It's lucky, but can you be too surprised that Registsteel was the most passive thing in the world? And it was... that's a crit Hydro Pump right there. That's a crit Hydro Pump. But was there really much of a hope for McMeghan after that one? Oh my goodness. Suicune can make it happen. Suicune can make it happen here. It's all in on Suicune now. First, we probably got to get through this Zapdos. If you want a chance. That's Tyranno. You have a Dugtrio. You're just going to go there and... appears to be another Pursuit Tar, which I actually didn't expect on a Smeagol team. Maybe there's something that benefits from Pursuit Tar in the final slot for Jumpy. That could be possible. Or perhaps it's Crunch on a different Tar set, not Pursuit necessarily. Zapdos is getting lower. We're getting closer to a Suicune endgame, but I think that Jumpy wants to preserve Zapdos at all costs. Probably. This Gengar can explode here, and it's kind of good no matter what happens. Because, yeah, it's probably the best play for McMeghan, but it's not fantastic, because now Suicune is so chipped. And it's Aero in the final slot. It's Aerodactyl. And it's a... at this point, that flinch was not that consequential, but it feels like salt in the wound, doesn't it? It feels like salt in the wound. And I would think that Zapdos has got this secured for Jumpy. A couple of Thunderbolts later. And it would seem... I mean, I guess a Sleep Talk Surf could have saved your life, but then Aero would easily get a follow-up KO. And Jumpy defeats McMeghan 2-0. In honestly a little bit of an odd set. But I think that they both played well. McMeghan, with some odd team choice, both of them didn't really work out. He played his absolute heart out in the first game, trying to make something happen, to be honest, in a rough matchup. Almost did, even, when the Zap did fall down, but didn't quite get there in the end. This one felt a bit more like the Registsteel simply... I mean, those misses were unfortunate, but... I don't know if I'm confident in Registsteel winning that 1v1 against Swampert in any scenario. That was a tough one. It's a bold choice, though, and I respect it. Thank you for watching, folks. Jumpy will progress. Stay tuned.